You all welcome back to African Colonization TV and Biafran History. Today's date is 16th February 2026. So here we'll give you everything that happened in Nigeria, Biafra and around the world. So in today's video is about the issue of Nigeria and Turkey. The issue of Tinubu cooperating with the Turkey president Erdogan. So this video exposed a lot of things concerning the issue of Tinubu and the Turkey presidents, what they discuss and the issue that is going on between the Turkey and between the Nigerian government. Because as you can see, the way the Islamism, the way the Sheikh Gumi and Co and their people, they are pushing Tinubu. They have been pushing him left, right, and center in the different ways on how he will cooperate, because on how he will cooperate with the Islamic country also, because if you look, the Israel and the US, they are Christian countries, so they are not happy with it. So what they are planning is how the government can cooperate also with the Islamic states. That is why they are pushing him to start signing agreements with other Islamic countries. So in this video, this our activist, she really explained a lot of things concerning things that is going on between the Turkey president and between the Tinubu government. So all those things, because as it is, so many people, they have been thinking, if it is not, it may become an Islamization agenda, or it may become a something else agenda, because the way the country is today, everybody is afraid. Everybody, in fact, nobody knows where he belongs to, and nobody knows what he's doing, because the way things is going, the way people, the Islamism, the Boko Haram, the Fulani men, the rest of them, the way they have been buying Christians and they doing many things, but the government, they are not even doing anything about it. And it is not the Israel prime minister and the issue of US that come for intervention of the Christian. The government of Nigeria, they don't even care. They don't even care. What they care after is how they are going to make their election, how they are going to get their position coming 2027 election, and how they are going to please the UK, which is the British, how they are going to please them by telling them that yes, Nigeria is still one, and Nigeria is still stand the way they left Nigeria. So in this video, this woman exposed a lot, and also this man you are seeing here, he exposed a lot of things, the meaning why Tinubu is traveling all over the world. So as you're about to watch, like, subscribe, make sure you share the video and let others see things going on in Nigeria.
So guys, many Nigerians have questioned reasons behind Tinubu's visit to Turkey. Don't forget that after Donald Trump threatened to destroy terrorists in Nigeria, Gumi came out asking Tinubu to quit every cooperation with the United States and seek help from Turkey and also Pakistan. Tinubu has finally heeded the advice of Sheikh Gumi. Now Tinubu visited Turkey and they've ended up signing defense agreements. Now let me show you how some Nigerians have reacted to that. Like this person here said, Tinubu signed defense cooperation with Saudi Arabia, now with Turkey, next with Egypt, Jordan, maybe even Iran and Syria. But his followers grumble about America's involvement in Nigeria. What a great secular president of Nigeria. So guys, Nigerians are questioning why Turkey? Why Turkey? This is coming after Sheikh Gumi's advice. Now, this man has also questioned reasons behind Tinubu's excessive travel, and he said trips. How many presidents are traveling around looking for investors? Analyst Jidofo Adibe questions Tinubu's travels. It is not something I support, he said. There is no reason the president of the country should be constantly be on the move. Tinubu, no leadership on ground. Terrorists are taking over. Tinubu is always seen going and coming, visiting and returning. So guys, now let me show you, like this headline also says, breaking news, Turkey and Nigeria have signed a defense cooperation agreement according to Sheikh Gumi's advice. Now, this other person here reacted. Okay, this other headline here says, as regards to insecurity all over the places while Tinubu is busy going from one country to another. Terrorists are taking over. Tinubu is busy traveling. This person here said, travelers on Ondo residents, stranded for hours as terrorists strike again in Akure Airport Road. Hey God. So guys, this is it. And now Odinkalo is speaking. He says, presidency is a serious job, not travel and tourism. Chidi Odinkalo blasts Tinubu over regular foreign trips is becoming excessive. Now, it will shock you to know that the terrorists who kidnapped the Christians in Kaduna State have named their price. They said they need 250 million naira and 20 bicycles to release the victims they captivated. This one's the headline here says, Kaduna church abduction bandits said 250 million naira, 20 motorcycles as release condition. This is a condition for which they are going to release their victims. So guys, this is what we are saying. Tinubu cannot come out to make a statement. This terrorist will strike. It's as if we don't have a government, no leadership on ground. Tinubu is not talking to Nigerians. Tinubu is busy going around the world. That's why you saw that he fell down yesterday in Turkey, because this man is weak and tired. Instead of him to retire and enjoy all the wealth he has acquired, Tinubu is looking for more. That is why he's still in governance and everything is slowing down. Look at the insecurity ravaging Nigerians. I mean, ravaging the entire country and the people. So guys, let me quickly show you how some Nigerians have reacted to Tinubu signing defense agreements with Saudi Arabia and now with Turkey. Like this person here said, it is clear that Islamic terrorists in Nigerian northern part gave Tinubu option to win 2027 election because they think and believe Nigeria belongs to them. The option is to sign defense cooperation with Islamic countries. So this person is saying that the North must have mandated Tinubu to sign defense agreement with Islamic countries if Tinubu really wants to run for the next election. Now this other reaction here says, are you connecting the dots when Gumi told him to run to Turkey to seek for help? You so-called Christians, Nigerian Christians, you live, your lives are now in serious danger. These so-called leaders are planning to wipe you off. And this other person also reacted saying, this is just a performance act. Turkey is one of the world's most dangerous terrorist sponsors. The only reason they are not sanctioned is because they understand the game, buying USA military hardware and also their NATO membership. So guys, Turkey has always been accused of sponsoring terrorism. And this person here says, terrorist Sheikh Gumi ordered him to sign that agreement. He has done that. Let them wait and see what comes of it in the next few months. A state that sponsors terrorism is who you consciously signed defense agreement with in 2026. For what purpose? Nigerians are asking Tinubu, how dare you go to a state that is accused of funding terrorism? And this person saying Muslim President Tinubu is signing defense cooperation agreements with Muslim countries to Islamize Nigeria. All this will not save him. All this will not save him. So guys, these are reactions coming from Nigerians. Now take your time, watch these videos as regards to the reactions coming from Nigerians, and let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
What Turkey can do for Nigeria and what Nigeria can also in exchange give to Turkey. Professor Jide Fadide is still with us, the professor of political science. Thanks so much, Prof, for joining us. Turkey, there are those who have criticized the president. He spent so much time out of the country. He only got back into the country halfway into the month in the beginning of the year. Now he's off to Turkey. But if are you one of those who think that if it's of benefit to the country, why not if not?
Sure. Let me say that capital smells opportunities. You do not need to go to any land to woo capital. Once there are opportunities, even in war-torn areas, capital will move in. How many presidents in the world do you know traveling around the world, because they are looking for people, investors? That's what is the role of the economic mission in your embassies. So while I recognize the role of personal diplomacy plays a role, but not to the extent of being a globetrotter. I think, but he didn't start it. Obasanjo did that. Buhari did that. So more is becoming more like a tradition among our own presidents. But I don't think personally it's something I support. I think you have Minister of Foreign Affairs, you have your trade missions in your various embassies. There is no reason why a president of the country should constantly be on the move. You know, you should stay. How many times have you had a Prime Minister of the UK or even Donald Trump or leaders of other countries junketing around the world and saying they are looking for investors. Here you do go in strategic cases, not the cases where your trade missions and Minister of Foreign Affairs cannot handle. And not especially in these days where you can even use your video conferencing to talk to your counterparts. I don't think it's, I think it's one of the, people see it as more going for photo ops with world leaders. But that is what it is. People conflate personal diplomacy with globetrotting by presidents.
So you see Turkey sits the Mid-Eastern politics, it plays it well, plays the Western politics very well. European politics is at the heart of that nation. In fact, as long as you cross the bridge, it does look like you're moving from Europe to the Middle East. So that country is a very interesting one.
Then belonging to neither, if you remember its own challenges in trying to become member of the European Union, that tells you also the level of acceptance.
And give it to Turkey. You now have a lot of Turkish products flooding the market, competing shoulder to shoulder with the Chinese product. In the furniture business, they're doing very well. They're probably topping, even in the fabric market, they're doing very well. Now in medicine, Turkey is another destination for medical tourism. A lot of Nigerians now go to Turkey for aesthetic medicine and all that, and even in hardware and sophistication of military weaponry, Turkey is playing very highly in that. You think that whatever deal Nigeria is signing, and I see the NSA, the Minister of Interior, the Trade Minister, all of them are there in Turkey. And the caliber of persons and the long list of people that we see go to Turkey, it does look like this is going to be taken seriously.
Yeah, if the president, for example, had just traveled to Turkey as one of the few travels, it would not have generated concerns. But he's constantly on the move. So whatever strategic importance this might be is diluted by the fact that he's a frequent traveler. So, and I think people will just see it as one of those travels. What is it that really? You know, there are times, certain circumstances that might justify that such travels. But for the fact that he's constantly on the move, he returns today, stays 1 week, 2 weeks, is off again. I'm not too sure it is very good, even in terms of optics. Even from other countries around the world, looking at you, you should, first of all, show that you love your country, that you're very comfortable being in your country, not constantly on the move. Having said that, I'm not trying to downplay the role, because whatever they are discussing about in Turkey is not in the public domain, but there are travels and attends all manner of meetings here.
An Egyptian television news program says that Turkey is clearly a terrorist state with a broad reach. It reports that Turkey is supplying weapons to the terrorist group Boko Haram in Nigeria. 10 TV host Nashat Al-Delhi reported on a leak confirming an intercepted phone call from a few years back confirming the action. He reported in part, today's leak confirms without a doubt that Erdogan, his state, his government, and his party are transferring weapons from Turkey to, this is a shock, to where you may ask, to Nigeria. And to whom? To the Boko Haram organization. Well, Raymond Ibrahim, a journalism fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center and an expert on the Middle East and Islam, joins us now with more on this. Welcome, Raymond.
Hello, Heather.
Are you surprised by this report? What's your take on it?
No, I'm not surprised. And my take on it is that the actual tape that was made that you referenced and you quoted was made apparently in 2014 or 15. And it was reported widely in certain areas in the U.S. and in the West, not so much, and not much came out of it. And the reason, I think, is because Erdogan wasn't so, didn't have his fingers so much in Islamist politics outside of his own nation. But now that we've seen, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the ISIS Islamic State caliph who was killed recently, and he was found just 3 miles from the Turkish border, which is in fact one of the last, or if not the last bastion of jihadi so-called freedom fighters of attacking the Syrian government. it's brought it up again, the fact that everyone is saying, well, look, he's supporting ISIS. So now we're remembering, and that was, I think, the point of the Egyptian show. We're bringing back to see that there's some continuity here. It's not just right next door to Syria, to Turkey, meaning Syria. He's involved with some of the absolute worst Islamic terror groups. Remember, Boko Haram, which its name loosely means, was basically doing what ISIS is notorious for years before ISIS. So the whole, head chopping, crucifying, massacres, enslaving women and children, burning people alive. Boko Haram was doing that. And one of the things that international observers have been noticing, especially increasingly, is that their armaments, their weapons, are very sophisticated. And it's even spilled into the Fulani tribesmen in Nigeria and in other parts in Africa. For example, I'm sure you know, Burkina Faso, also in Western Africa, attacks on Christians have become horrific. Just in the last few months, there have been so many killed, and always in the context of checking out if they're wearing crosses, if they can say the Islamic Creed or not, and then being butchered and so forth. And those tribesmen, the Fulani, who are essentially living almost on a primitive scale, appear with very advanced weaponry.
Well, that's really interesting, which would kind of seem to perhaps give more weight to this idea that perhaps Turkey is collaborating with Boko Haram. What would the benefit be to Turkey of collaborating with Boko Haram?
Well, there's several theories. One is Erdogan basically is an ardent Islamist, and he is supporting and behind any Islamist movement in any country. He's the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He was allied with Qatar of Al Jazeera as his ally. And so you can see him, he's trying to help develop these Islamist groups so they can overthrow more secular states. Though, in fact, in Nigeria, an aside that I think is important, the president himself, Muhammad Buhari, of Nigeria, who's Muslim, Nigeria is half Christian, half Muslim, has been accused himself of being behind the so-called genocide, which a lot of international groups have called what's happening to Christians in Nigeria, that he himself is complicit in this armament. So he could very well be an ally of Erdogan and so forth, and it's just some sort of Islamist overall coalition globally.
I want to ask you, the President Trump, of course, met with the President of Turkey yesterday. Do you think he's aware of these kind of ties to terrorism? And what are your thoughts on that meeting yesterday?
Well, in general, I think, what he's aware of, it's really hard to tell. But I think the meeting in general, Trump and presidents won't necessarily bring up all these things, obviously. So when he met, for example, in Saudi Arabia with the king and so forth, he doesn't really mention human rights abuses and so forth for whatever strategic, tactical reasons. So it's really hard to predict, but I think he needs to be aware because Erdogan's he's got his fingerprints everywhere now. It's not just Syria, which is very obvious, but now there's older evidence of him involved in Nigeria and also in Turkey itself, the Christian population, the minority there. And remember, Turkey was originally entirely Christian. It was Anatolia. It was actually where St. Paul wrote all his epistles to. They're really being treated badly and discriminated against, and a lot of hate preaching in Turkey is increasingly against Christians and Jews. Definitely Turkey's going down the wrong path with Erdogan, though many Turks themselves remain committed to the Ataturk ideal of secularism.
Well, we are out of time, but Raymond Ibrahim, thank you for your time and your insights here.
An Egyptian television channel recently aired an interview during which the guest spoke about how President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan of Turkey and his government have been supplying weapons to some prominent terrorist groups in parts of the Middle East and Africa. Raymond Ibrahim, a Shillman Fellow in Journalism at the David Horowitz Freedom Center and an expert on the Middle East and Islam, agrees with the Egyptian television station, adding that Erdogan's support of these non-state actors, including Boko Haram in Nigeria, has been common knowledge for close to a decade, but may have been brought to the fore again by the recent killing of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the erstwhile leader of the so-called Islamic State. For a greater focus on this, we are now being joined by Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, spokesman of Nigeria's Defense Headquarters. Thank you very much for joining us at this time. We do know you have a busy schedule. But let me quickly ask you, does this report come to you as a surprise?
It's not coming as a surprise.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's not coming as a surprise to our country and, of course, to our armed forces. Considering the fact that we know that Boko Haram has been decimated, we know that they have been joined by Islamic State of West Africa. We know that Boko Haram had pledged allegiance over the years to ISIS. Haram is enjoying tacit support. It may not be open, tacit support from various terrorist organizations and perhaps other clandestine organizations and countries.
Now, based on your military training and real-time experience, does Nigeria have any military pact or defense with Turkey? And what is the response of the country at this time?
Well, I'd like to say that at the national strategic level, it's been given attention and concern, and the necessary attention and concern. And of course, you will agree with me that that is what informed one of the very recent policies, that's the border closure policies adopted at the national strategic level. Given the fact that severally our customs have intercepted weapon systems being shipped into the country, we've intercepted container loads of firearms, both light and heavy firearms, being shipped into the country. So it's been given attention at the national strategic level very adequately.
But for a lot of people, you said this is not coming as a surprise, and you do talk about the response the country is having so far. But we wonder why the revelation is coming to the fore now and nothing has been said about it before.
Yes, we're talking about the intelligence community here. Everything does not have to be churned out and put into the public domain. We're talking about intelligence. And good enough, somebody just made a reference to it in one of those international media. And I told you it's been investigated. It's receiving attention at the national, due attention at the national strategic level. It's been taken very seriously. And just like I told you, it's one of those issues resulted in the border closure, ensuring that, given the fact that firearms had previously been intercepted, all these activities have been based on requisite intelligence gathering.
Well, indeed, because, local and international observers have wondered in recent times how the insurgents have gotten more sophisticated weapons in recent times. But let's look at Turkey now, because we do know Turkey is more involved in international military politics than Nigeria is. Would you agree?
We have said.
Would you agree that Turkey? Would you agree, if you allow me land here, would you agree that Turkey might be using Nigeria as a pawn in this high-pressure game?
Sorry, I didn't get that. I didn't quite get that. Could you come again, please?
The role of Turkey in all of this, the allegation, and the role Turkey is playing in international military politics at the moment. Is Nigeria a pawn in this high-pressure game?
Nigeria is too sophisticated to be a pawn in the hands of Turkey. The armed forces of Nigeria is too sophisticated to be a pawn in the hands of Turkey. And I've told you that based on intelligence gathering, requisite intelligence gathering, several firearms have been intercepted. Container loads of firearms have been intercepted. At the national diplomatic level, that's a different issue, which I wouldn't like to delve into. But talking about intelligence gathering, which concerns the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies, we are doing the utmost. We are doing our work round the clock to ensure that we gather enough intelligence about what comes into comes into Nigeria, what goes out of Nigeria that could compromise national security. I think that is the utmost and very important to the armed forces of Nigeria.
And how much of an assurance is Nigeria expecting from Turkey at this time to exercise this allegation or, the claims, because you do say you're investigating? How much of a response have you gotten from the Turkish government at this time?
I told you that's going to be at the national strategical level and not at our own military strategic level. It's going to be at the national strategic level. It's going to be a diplomatic thing.
Well, let's talk about something else, or perhaps let's stay with this, because a lot of Nigerians wonder what is the level of success that you say the Nigerian army is recording in the fight against the terrorism, almost a decade now. What would you blame the inability thus far for the Nigerian army to win the war against terrorism? Why has it been so difficult?
I think I would. Well, it's a big national security challenge, and it's not only peculiar with Nigeria. I need you to understand the fact that there is an increasing employment of the instrument of violence by non-state actors globally. It is an international thing. And that is why you find Boko Haram, for instance, pledging allegiance to ISIS. You find Islamic State of West Africa cropping up as an appendage, so to speak, of Boko Haram. And of course, working with another international terrorist organization like the ISIS. So it's not only peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global thing that requires global attention. Good enough at our level, national level, we are giving it attention. The security situation in the Northeast, compared to what it used to be far back 2009, is far, far better as we speak today. There is socio-economic activities are beginning to be restored in the Northeast. There is governance going on in the Northeast. People are going about their normal businesses, and we are dominating the theater operation. We are dominating the battle space. We are pushed the terrorists out of the various towns in the Northeast and sent them into the tumbus, that's the islands where they are hibernating, and from where they come out once in a while to attack soft targets. So I think we have made huge success relative to what it used to be in the past. You will recall that far back 2009, Boko Haram was almost approaching Lagos. We had sleeper cells, I beg your pardon, of Boko Haram in Kogi State. We had them in Abuja. They were all over the place. People could not sit out to socialize freely within the society. But today, we flip the coin over. You find out that it's a far cry from what it used to be. Boko Haram has been pushed out of all these communities and pushed far into the tumbus, where we call the islands. And today we have governance going on in Borno State, in Yobe State, in Adamawa State, in Bauchi State, in Gombe State. And we have our troops dominating the battle space.
And we do commend the men of the armed forces.
Life has been restored in those places.
Indeed, we do commend the efforts of the armed forces so far. Very quickly to something else. We do know about the Operation Crocodile Smile 4 in operation in the southwest. Tell us what has been the success story so far, because we do see an increase in robbery attacks, especially in border communities along Lagos and Ogun. What is going on? Very briefly.
Yes, that's an internal security operation, one of the internal security operations led by the Nigerian army. And it's meant to do what? It's meant to work with the police, with other security organizations to address emerging security challenges in that part of the country. We have had issues of abductions and kidnaps. We have had issues of assassination. We have had issues of ethnic communal clashes. We've had issues of herders-farmers clashes. These are the security challenges that we are jointly addressing with the other security agencies. And I think yes.
You talk about the president's travel. The other time he was in Europe, he's been to France several times. He's been to Brazil. He's been to, the last time he, in fact, as a matter of fact, he came back from UAE about 10 days ago and all of that. But this is on a state visit. The last time he traveled was on a working vacation, but this one is a state visit. Do you have a problem with the president?
I have a problem with all the visits, because none of them have yielded any fruit. State visits. When is he going to go on a local government visit? Or even village visit?
He has his governor doing all that for him.
Please, I don't like this. Look, we don't have a leader here. That's just the simple truth. Donald Trump, with all his bravado, do you see him leaving America for one day? Going to where will he go to? No, which is that country that is worthy to host a Donald Trump? Which is that country? Mention it. Go to Europe and America. Except this one that he goes to Ukraine. And then whenever he wants to have meeting with the Vladimir Putin, they will choose a neutral ground. Is it not an embarrassment for you to go to Dubai? Look at this
for a global summit.
Leave that thing,
Sustainability summit. He wasn't the only one there.
If I am in the position of an American Nigerian president, I will be looking at myself as that is when you count Donald Trump, you count me, you count Prime Minister of Britain, you count that of Canada.
Onto what? Onto what?
Yeah, in terms of status.
I
am representing the biggest black nation in the whole world. I am not supposed to be seen everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, if I need you, I will call you on phone, tell you what I want. That's all. Why should I come to you to do what?
If you are representing a rich country of poor people, will you be so proud to flaunt yourself?
Then I'm not poor. There's no way I will be poor. Nigeria is not poor. Nigeria, we all have poor.
No, Barrister, did you hear what I said? I said Nigeria is a rich country of poor people.
Because you made them so.
So, under this condition, under this situation, if you are a president of the world's most populous black nation and you represent a rich country of poor people, will you flaunt yourself around the world?
In that case, I will make this place a paradise.
Okay.
So that the whole world will come here to pay homage.
Okay, now the question is changing.
Yes.
Barrister, I have asked this question several times. Let me ask you again. When people complain about the president's absence, and I ask, does it really matter? Because in the president's presence, things happen. Things happen and nothing changes. So should his absence bother Nigerians?
It should.
At some point, Atiku Abubakar said, well, Nigeria is on autopilot. So was Atiku correct when he said that Nigeria is on autopilot? Because in and out of season, when the president is in and when the president is outside, nothing changes. Everything goes on as usual. So should the president's absence matter to Nigerians?
Yes, it should, because it is our resources that is being wasted for nothing. Mr. Okoro?
Okay, so your concern is that he's spending taxpayers' money.
Yes. That is the main issue here. And we are not seeing any returns. We are not seeing any returns. That is even the bigger problem. Donald Trump, before he leaves America, all the benefits are already calculated. What he's going to bring back is already known, is there. He can't come to your country for nothing. It's not possible.
Okay.
He's coming to attract one thing or the other into America. This man will continue to waste our resources in the name of traveling, in the name of weighing investors. There is something going on in Asoro that they don't want to tell us. This is no longer ordinary. That Asoro, there is something there that is pursuing these people. If not, why can't you sit down in your office for once? I mean, just look at it. What if America cannot give you all the help you need? Is it Turkey that will do it? No, tell me. What America is doing in Nigeria today with the help they are giving to us against this insecurity, can Turkey do that? The answer is no. To make matters worse, Turkey has been fingered as a terrorist financier and sponsor all over the world, including Nigeria. It's on record. Turkey has been fingered as one of those sponsoring terrorism, especially in Nigeria.
Oh yes. Everybody is seeing the way the country is today. I love Barrister Darlington. He's the only person that used to say the truth the way it is. Other media, other commentators, they may be talking left. But this man, Darlington, Barrister Darlington, he used to say the truth the way it is. What did Nigeria or what did Buhari need from Turkey? He went to Turkey to join alliance with him. And why is the Turkey? They are the main sponsor of Boko Haram and main sponsor of many terrorists in the country, in many places, which the documents have taken it. And many people have been saying about it. But in Nigeria today, they are the people that is Tinubu went to associate with. So if you ask, they will tell you that they are fighting against the bandits. Okay, don't just imagine, look at what the Chief of Defense Staff is saying. Just saying, just talking. You don't even know what he's saying. Just in the name of that, he want to speak. And when somebody tell you that they want to Islamize the country, some people that will be there defending the government, claiming that they are part of the government, they will be talking and they will be seeing everything the way it is, but none of them will speak the truth. And where it used to baffles me is that some people that is the Christian family, that came from the Christian family, and some of them that is a pastor, because of they are getting money from the government, they will not speak the truth the way it is, and they will tell you that everything is okay. The government is working fine. The government is not working fine. Nigeria is not going well, and nothing is working. For those who believe that they are Islamic and they want to Islamize people, let them have their own side of Islamization, and they leave those who don't want it to be on their own. It is not by force that everybody must be Islamized. It is not. So the whole issue here is that the country, everybody is tired of all those things, and everybody is tired of all those things that is going on in the country. Joining hand with the Turkey, with the worst country in the world, and associating with it, buying weapons and many things is somehow. Well, the government, they have not even tell us the main issue and the main thing they are joining hand with them. Israel offered them help, but due to Israel is a Christian country, then because of it, Tinubu is looking for is looking for how he will get power in 2027 by all means from the north. So now he wants to be doing what Gumi is telling them to be doing. And Gumi there, every eyes, international eyes on him, but still the Nigerian government, they don't want to arrest him and they don't want to touch him. So we don't really understand. At the end, the government will tell you that they don't know what is happening in the country, why they are the author and they are the sponsor of all those things that is going on in the country. Well, that is it. Well, I would like to hear a comment down below. What do you think about the whole thing going on in the country? Like, subscribe, and make sure you share the video. Go around, let others see what is really going on in Nigeria. Say thank you for watching.